Hashtag Tax Strike 2026. It's here, you guys. The streets are talking, and it's hard to ignore at this point. People are mad, big mad, and I can't blame them. We just landed here in 2026, and it's already off the charts insane. Between fraud, government waste, multiple states being like in major deficits, not to mention America being in like a $40 trillion deficit at this point. It really does make you wonder, why? Why am I paying taxes? Why do I have to pay taxes to an entity that can't even manage their own budgets for money that they didn't even earn? Apparently, I'm not the only one who feels this way. In fact, I'm going to show you a few videos where people are expressing their valid opinions. Before we jump into it, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. It helps grow the channel. I appreciate you guys' support. Let's run the tapes.
Grok said that if we all stopped paying our taxes, that it would work.
Now, this next video brings up a valid point. A really good point, in fact. This particular issue here crosses all party lines. No matter which way you lean, you're being taxed. If you have any income whatsoever, whether it's W-2 income, 1099 income, self-employed income, no matter what it is, you're getting hit every month or every year with taxes. The government always finds a way to get in your pocket. Let's check it out.
I feel legitimately guilty about paying taxes at this point. So when I tell people that you should withhold your federal taxes for all of 2026, just know that I also feel guilty about contributing to the system whatsoever. The fact that our money is quite literally stolen from us without our choice, it is not up to you if you pay taxes. It is taken from you. And if you don't, they might take your house, they might take your car, they might just take your paycheck before it ever gets to you. They're actually pissed that they have to go through you to get your paycheck. They wish they could just cut out the middleman and just extract your money. But I feel guilty, very guilty, troubled that every single week my paycheck goes to fund killing kids in other countries. It goes to other countries getting free healthcare, getting benefits that I quite literally don't think they deserve. I do not want them to have it because I think they are evil, but I'm the one paying for it. So in reality, I can't believe those two things. You can't believe that it's bad to fund a genocide but also pay your taxes. Because if it's true that you think it's bad to fund a genocide, then why are you still paying taxes? I don't know. I don't know how to stop. I don't know how to stop. Everybody's scared. They're just going to take something. That's the problem. America only works because we all feel threatened by our government. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. We can all agree that our current government is doing a terrible job, and them doing such a terrible job is the only thing that has ever united Republicans and Democrats. Do not let them divide us. They will try to pull race things, gender things, immigration things to divide you. Be smarter than that.
In this next video, she touches on something that's very telling. Why is it that our country operates on income taxes when there's plenty of other successful companies that don't charge income tax at all? Matter of fact, if I remember correctly, America didn't always run on income taxes either. So that begs the question, why can't it be done again? See, this is why I'll never vote for any type of increase or new tax, because that's exactly how we got in the situation that we're in right now. This next guy brings up the reality of how dirty this can actually get. Like, it's easier to say we're going to do something until stuff hits the fan. Doing something and knowing that the fallout is going to change everything that you know, like life as you know it, sacrificing everything that you've built up until now, that's pretty huge. Like, are Americans really ready for that? Are we at the point of a revolution? Let's roll the tape.
It's only the second day of the new year and the 2026 tax revolt is already underway. That's right, people don't want to pay taxes anymore because they don't trust the way the government is spending and tracking our money. The nail in the coffin was obviously the Somalian daycare fraud, but the Pentagon just failed their financial audit for their 8th year in a row. Can you imagine if you did that? No, because you'd be in prison, have all your assets seized, and not be able to take out a loan. According to several reports, the daycare fraud in Minnesota alone is estimated around $9 billion. And President Trump said that the fraud in California is even worse. And I'm just curious, why didn't Doge catch this? Every year, American taxpayers give the U.S. government about $5 trillion in taxes. To celebrate this, today our U.S. national debt reaches an all-time high of $38.5 trillion. Just as a fun little comparison, this is Dubai 2 days ago on New Year's Eve, one of the most advanced cities in the world. Look at this. It's beautiful. And how much do their citizens pay in taxes per year? That would be a whopping 0%. Do you think anything's going to come of this, or do you think people are just frustrated and airing their grievances online? Because it's going to be a situation where everybody stops paying taxes, or only a few people do, and then they incur penalties and interest.
This next video asks us point blank, are you in or are you out? But the real question is, how many of us are in? Because at the end of the day, there's only power in numbers. A revolution doesn't work with a small minority. You know, they always say that we need to learn history because you can learn from the mistakes of our ancestors. But have we learned? The truth is, didn't everybody learn about the Boston Tea Party in school? How they were mad, big mad over tea, a tea tax. That was where they drew the line in the sand. But today, over 251 years later, here we are being taxed on everything: income, property taxes, cars, fuel, food, any and every good that we could possibly buy. There's a tax there. If you're self-employed, you have to pay business taxes. You have to pay taxes for your employees. You have to pay taxes everywhere you look. So here we are as an example. We didn't learn a thing. Let's roll the next tape.
The biggest topic on the internet right now is taxes. There's thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people saying that they're no longer going to be paying because they're sick and tired of what our tax money is going to, and none of it goes to benefit us. There's also legislators and big name people and people in the government itself saying that we should revolt against paying taxes. So my question to you is, what are you going to do? Are you going to continue paying your taxes, or do you think that something needs to change? I think that something needs to change, and I know this. We're the only ones that are going to make the change. They're not going to do it. So we got to do something big, and we got to do something bold in order for change to occur. So I'm just wondering, are you in or are you out? Like what is your stance on this whole topic and situation?
A tax strike is literally the only option that we have left to truly bring change to this country. We cannot rely upon our vote and our elected officials anymore. If you can't see at this point that their only interest is to line their own pockets, then you deserve to die as a slave to the system. I have a question for the American taxpayer. How many years have you worked and watched your hard-earned tax dollars spent on shit you didn't even vote for? Year after year goes by, administration after administration, and it's still the same thing. I don't know about you, but I'm beyond tired. I would rather watch the literal collapse of this corrupt system and everything that would come with that than watch another day go by where one more dollar runs through the hand of these worthless politicians. They don't care about the American people, and it's time we stand up and do something about it peacefully. What's the best way to do that? Hit them where it hurts, their pockets. Every aspect of our lives is taxed. Think about it. They tax us on our paychecks. They tax us on the homes we live in. They tax us on the food we eat and even the cars we drive. Literally every aspect. For what? To allow them to enrich themselves? Laundering our money for causes that we aren't even in support of. This is simple. We voted for accountability and Americans to be put first, period. Do you notice that every time Netanyahu goes to the White House, he receives billions of dollars in our tax money? I don't give a shit what blackmail they have on our politicians. They are not getting one more penny. Don't you see that this is the only way moving forward? Mark my words, bookmark this video. 2026 will go down in the history books where Americans stood up and actually brought change to this country. I'm done making corrupt politicians and foreign leaders rich. It ends here, it ends now.
But here's what you can do. And this is bold. Here's some, and it's totally legal, by the way. You get a W-2, right? Go to your HR department on Monday and tell them that you don't want to withhold any federal taxes from your payroll. Now, look, put those in a separate account because you're still going to probably have to pay them at the end of the year, unless Trump takes my idea and pardons every citizen for not paying taxes in 2026. But you would break the trend of not giving the government an interest-free loan on your income for an entire year. You can just pay it at the end of the year when you do your taxes in April of 27. A few million productive citizens do that. I bet the Treasury starts panicking. Bet we get their attention real quick. Folks, just so you know, I don't just like come on here also and talk about this. When I get done with this show for an hour on the train and when I get home, I'm like taking clips of what we talked about and showing them your sentiment of the tweets and things that you send me. And I send them directly to congressmen and senators and governors and sometimes even the president's staff so they know how we feel. Like I feel like a conduit of you. And the more you folks share this stuff, like go on social media and follow me on Instagram and Twitter or X or whatever it's called, and share this stuff. Force them to listen. Because I'm done supporting empty promises. Let these people who have worked in DC for decades know that it's time to do real stuff, like repeal the 16th Amendment. I mean, just like put it up for a vote. Why not? Get people on the record. Who's for and against taxing you? Just start doing stuff. Because this last year has been Congress's least effective year in my lifetime.
I think for those of us who are responsible enough to withhold our own taxes and set it aside in a savings account so we can ultimately pay later, I think this is a great idea. I think it's the only non-violent and possibly successful way that we can protest in solidarity. But again, it's still going to take numbers. Americans have to be willing to stand up, or ultimately it might just be a moot point again. But maybe it'll do something else. Maybe it'll have unintended consequences for the government, but also maybe some positive things for you. I've actually never in my adult life have even thought about setting aside taxes myself and withholding throughout the year. We're so afraid of the IRS and the government that we don't even think about it. We think of it as a convenience, but maybe it'll actually be a convenience for us. Maybe we'll be able to invest that money or spend that money in ways that make more sense to us throughout the year as opposed to giving it to the government up front. Just a thought. So America, what's it gonna be? You in or are you out? Will you be participating or would this be just another false revolution? Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I look forward to hearing from you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow.